Hey guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing okay. A little housekeeping before I start this stream. Um, so I do work some other jobs, and one of the other jobs, the other person that I work with is going into surgery tomorrow. So I have to pick up all of her work, and I'll be working like doubles for the next 3 weeks. So I'm still going to stream, but my time will be so limited. I don't know how often I'll be able to. I have some plans in place, don't worry. But yeah, I won't be on as much as normal. It'll be physically impossible. But it's only for a few weeks, and then it'll be back to normal again. Okay. All right. You guys came for some good ones. There's some really good ones today. Um, we have a total idiot. We're going to start with the idiot because he's an idiot and he thinks he knows more than everybody. He's a college student, so you remember when you went to college how you thought you were so smart. So we're gonna hear him. He doesn't get bad, but I feel like he will in the future. So I feel like this is one we need to keep a close eye on because we're gonna love this one. Um, we have an update case a couple streams ago. I had some lady come in court who at first I thought was just crazy, but then I was on her side fully by the time she got done explaining what was happening. We have an update on her case. I mean, not much has happened, but at least we have an update. And then let's get the party started. We have a couple. So with the woman is just a nuisance, and the husband is a lawyer nuisance, and it's great. I feel bad for the judge, but he just ignores everything, so it's fine. Let's start with the idiot. Let's just go right there.
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Foreman.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
We are here on the record today in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Gabriel Gonzalez Rodriguez. This is case number 240031FY, and we are set today for an arraignment. May I have appearances, please, for the record?
Thank you, Your Honor. Jonathan Foreman, Office of the Public Defender, here with Mr. Gonzalez Rodriguez, who is appearing from the Ingham County Jail. We waive any in-person appearances today.
Thank you so much. Mr. Gonzalez Rodriguez, are you able to hear and see me and Mr. Foreman?
Correct. Yes, I see myself at the top. I see you two in the middle, and I see full names.
Okay, thank you so much. I just want to make sure that you can hear everything, and if there's any problems, would you please let me know?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we're here for an arraignment today, and the purpose of this hearing is for me to inform you of the charges against you, the possible penalties, and your rights. You are charged in this felony complaint with the crime of assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder, or by strangulation. And the complaint alleges that on or about January 16th of 2024, at the location of North Case Hall, 842 Chestnut Road in the city of East Lansing, Ingham County, Michigan, you did make an assault upon Corbin Allen by strangulation or suffocation. This is a felony and it's punishable by up to 10 years in prison and or $5,000. DNA is to be taken upon arrest, and a consecutive sentence may be imposed under state law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. Mr. Gonzalez Rodriguez, do you understand that charge and the possible penalties?
Yes, Judge Greenwell, I understand.
And Gabriel, we're going to keep it at that at a yes or a no.
Okay, Sir, the best thing. So first of all, we're making a record, so we need to make sure we don't speak over one another. And the other thing I want you to know is Mr. Foreman is a seasoned defense attorney, and I'm sure he's told you he wants you to just say, answer questions directly, and we don't want to get into any of the facts or any other thing for this record, and that is to protect your interests. Is that all clear?
Yes. Am I allowed, however, Judge Greenwell, to speak even when interrupted by my public defense attorney if I feel it is important to my personal interest, as you have stated?
it's not appropriate to speak anything about the facts of the case, and you are interrupting. The point of this hearing is for me to finish advising you of your rights, so I'm going to continue there. So, sir, you have a right to an attorney, and if you can't afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Mr. Foreman, is Mr. Rodriguez, Gonzalez Rodriguez, making an application to your office?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you also have a right to a hearing that's known as a preliminary examination. At that hearing, I would listen to evidence and determine by a probable cause standard whether the crime alleged was committed and whether it was committed by you. And you have a right to a trial. At the trial, you would have many rights available to you. Mr. Foreman, did you review the trial rights with your client?
I did.
Okay, and how are we proceeding?
Entering a not guilty today, Your Honor.
And we'll set this for a probable cause conference set for January 26th at 8:30. The preliminary examination is set for February 1st at 9 a.m. Mr. Foreman, would you like to be heard on bond?
Thank you, Your Honor. I had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Gonzalez Rodriguez about the allegations here. He informed me he has no criminal history of any kind. He is an MSU student. He's studying chemistry. He's a junior at MSU. He does not live at the location where this is alleged to have occurred. And it's my understanding he would have no objection to a no contact order. There's no reason that he would have to be in contact with the complainant in this matter, is my understanding. So we would be requesting a personal bond given his lack of a criminal history and given his ties to this community. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Foreman. Mr. Foreman, did you get an updated address from your client?
I did, and I provided it to the court to Ms. Horn in the private chat.
Okay, and is that an East Lansing address?
It is.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Gonzalez Rodriguez, did you hear everything Mr. Foreman told me?
Yes. Would you like me to repeat my understanding of it, Judge Greenwell?
No, I just need to make sure that you heard
Yes.
that, and then I want to make sure that everything he told me was accurate.
Then I will save my words for the conference on the 28th. The 26th at 8:30 a.m.
Oh, you're saying that you have a class or something?
I think he said something else, Your Honor, and that's something I can address with him off the record about what the purpose of that hearing is.
I see. Okay. Well, Mr. Foreman gave me some information that I'm going to rely on here that helps me make a bond determination. And what I understand is that you are an MSU student, that you live locally, you provided an updated address where the court can send you mail. Is all that accurate up until this point, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And so
Good.
that helps me give me confidence that you will appear for all your court dates and there will be no problems with your failing to appear. And then the other factor I have to think about in setting your bond has to do with public safety, particularly about any public safety concern vis-a-vis the complaining witness, Corbin Allen. I believe that can be addressed through bond conditions. So, Mr. Gonzalez Rodriguez, your bond is set at $5,000 personal recognizance, and you are subject to the following conditions. You must appear as directed. You may not leave the state of Michigan without permission of this court. You must not commit any offense while on bond to this court. You must not engage in any assaultive, harassing, or threatening behavior towards any person, and you may not have any contact with an individual named Corbin Allen. And Mr. Gonzalez Rodriguez, if you were to violate that condition of your bond, and if you would have contact with Mr. Allen, your bond will be forfeited. You'll be subject to additional bond conditions, and you'll be subject to arrest without a warrant. When I say no contact, that means contact by any means. You may not call or text or message this person in social media, and you must not have a third party contact Mr. Allen on your behalf. Mr. Gonzalez Rodriguez, you may not enter into Case Hall on MSU campus. And again, if you were to do that, you would be subject to an immediate arrest without a warrant. You may not purchase or possess any firearm. And if you do that, again, you'd be subject to immediate arrest without a warrant and your bond will be forfeited. And Mr. Gonzalez Rodriguez, you need to make contact with an agency known as Pretrial Services, and I will give you the information on how to do that. You'll contact them by phone, and they will monitor your compliance with these bond conditions. Mr. Foreman, is there anything else that we should address here today, particularly in terms of any additional conditions for any is Mr. Gonzalez Rodriguez engaged in any treatment or anything that should be encouraged through bond conditions?
Not to my knowledge, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, so with that, anything further, Mr. Foreman?
They stopped the stream abruptly at that point. Yeah, I bet you he said something. I know he did. Anyway, we didn't get to see it. We're going to have to watch this guy closely. He's in Michigan. Oh, man, I hope I can get him because... All right, I'm going to try real hard. Don't worry. He's going to be fun to watch in court. All right, we're going to go to an update real quick. It's only like 3 minutes long of another case that I had before.
Great, thanks. Ms. Bershauer, could you come on the Zoom call there, please?
I'm here.
So it's kind of a similar situation. And so I'll ask you the same question. Where are we headed with this here today? You have the opportunity, we can, sometimes when, things kind of fall by, things kind of die down and people think, well, it's not really necessary anymore. And they just kind of let things go. Again, as you just saw, some people want to reissue and try it again and come back in a couple of weeks. So I guess where are you with regard to this situation?
Well, I definitely want to have it reissued. It wasn't done the first time by the court. Unfortunately, the judge had told me that he was going to have the police have it issued for the police to serve her, but he never put the order in. And so last time I came on here, I think it was you that put it in, but they put it, when it was served to the sheriff's department, and it should have gone to City of Tacoma. Right, so just on Friday, they reissued it and resent it to her, to the
for today.
Yes, sir. Just on Friday, they told me Justin and the civil.
All right, hang on just a minute. So where should it go? Should it go to the City of Tacoma or Pierce County Sheriff's?
It goes to City of Tacoma.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll reissue it for today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've checked the boxes. Thank you. So, ma'am, this will reissued. A copy of it. Copy will get sent to the Tacoma Police Department.
Okay.
Travis.
Should I put 4 there instead of 3? Great. And that's it for today, ma'am. You're free to leave the Zoom call.
When's the next follow-up or hearing?
I'm sorry, I thought I said it'd be January 29th at 9 a.m. That's for everybody. For everybody who gets reissued, it'll be January 29th at 9 a.m.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
That was a whole docket of harassment charges, and it was very funny to watch. These two little old ladies, one is in a walker, are fighting with each other, and she rammed her walker into me. It was great. But I pulled out the best one, and it is the best one by far that we're about to go to. There's yelling, there's screaming at the judge, there's angry neighbors saying the worst things about each other. There's definitely swearing, just so you know, warning. There's crying. I don't know if it was them crying or me crying because I had to listen to it, but there's crying. And then there's a lawyer who gets slapped down. We love when that happens. So, oh, stay. Or if you already seen it on a different channel or whatever, fast forward because I have some special updates at the end. I went and searched for the one lady in here, and I went and searched on her Facebook and the court records and things like that. So I'm going to show you some of the things that she's been doing. So, all right, here we go. Let's get going.
And for the record, and Shannon Pardee, a petitioner in 23-000378. Mr. Eden is the
Shannon Pardee puts the party in all of this. Don't worry.
Responded. And then in the case 23-00435, Mr. Eden's the petitioner. Ms. Pardee's, both parties are respondents. In that case, this isn't a new situation, well, somewhat new to me, I think. Right. Both Mr. Eden and the Pardees have been listed as petitioners and respondents in a few cases in the past involving each other. No permanent order has been entered. As far as I can tell, feel free to, either party can stand to correct me. The last time you were in court was in, okay, let me double check this. Well, there was a case that was filed in November 17th, but it looks like that was dismissed. I think the last time folks were actually in court speaking to the judicial officer was in August. And so a lot has been filed. Some of the things predate the August filing, which I think has already been litigated. I'm not too interested in any of that. Although I did review what was filed, some videos, which frankly a lot of videos don't reflect well on any of the parties who are in front of me here today. But Ms. Pardee, and I'll start with you first. You're the petitioner on 23-000-378. Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down. And how is it that you need an order against Mr. Eden? And like I say, what I'm going to be interested in is things that have happened since the last time you were in court. I think a judge made a ruling, pretty much the things up to there. Go ahead.
Everything I've submitted to you has been recent. It's not any old stuff. This is a continuing, ongoing issue. Mr. Eden doesn't stop.
I would like you to testify as to the specific things that are in the record. So just tell me what's been going on out there.
When I try to leave our home, Mr. Eden has a sign up above with these bright lights flooded right at the exit of our driveway on a fence that he put up illegally in the beginning of the year. It just and it's just to annoy. There's chairs there. You can't see when you leave. When we're trying to leave, he throws up his middle finger, calls me a fucking cunt. Try to go out of the driveway like I've written to you, 15-year-old kid in the morning, going to school, and he's out there screaming, calling me a fucking cunt and giving us the finger. Last week when I was trying to take a kid to school, I don't even know if I've had a chance to write this to submit it. As we're passing his house, it's 5:43 in the morning. I'm taking the kid to school because he goes early for gym. And this guy's up in his house as we're passing with a spotlight, spotlighting us through the window. Do you know how bright a spotlight is? And besides the fact that Mr. Eden knows that I have a light disorder and a sensory disorder to that, as well as noise, and he keeps on. It's childish, Your Honor. He's mad about his land disturbance issue, and he keeps trying to create some issue where I haven't spoken to him, talked to him, nothing since before summer of 2022. All of these incidents are simply Mr. Eden either running out of his driveway, running down the road, anything at my kids. The kids leave the front door. He's out there yelling, calling him a fag and giving him a finger. We have a locked gate to keep away from him. We go to the gate. There he is giving us the finger. The video I submitted to you, giving the finger. The man cannot leave us alone. He drives past the house to give him the finger. Matthew was home the other night by himself. He went to empty the fireplace ashes in the garbage can that was up by the road because the garbage hasn't come yet. And I get home and Matthew says, Mom, I'm just emptying the ashes. And he drives past, giving me the finger, yelling, fuck you. He's 12. 12. Mr. Eden does not live in a family home. He lives in his mother's house. He's not a resident of this community. He doesn't care about this community. And he's angry because we have to file a land use action because he filled in an entire hill and it's now flooding my property. So not only am I subjected to his torment every day when I try to go to the grocery store, get my kid to school, I can't even have a caregiver now. The state will not send out a caregiver because he keeps harassing my care people. What gives him the right to yell at my guests, my company, my care people, my medical professionals? And now I have to go around and protect all these? I can't. He will not stop. He's at that driveway over the hill all the time. So now I cannot, I'm supposed to have surgery. I need care people and they will not come here. I'm in the middle of that. The one guy's so afraid he won't even make a statement because he doesn't want Mr. Eden to know where he lives or who he is. And now I have to deal with Adult Protective Services because I'm a vulnerable adult. They have to come out here because the caregivers won't come out because Mr. Eden won't leave him alone. This is new. This isn't old stuff. This isn't his BS saying that I don't behave or I've done this and that. This is all just recent. Even yesterday, he's still up there. Finger, music, noise. Who runs? One, we live in a residential neighborhood. This guy runs his dump truck for up to an hour at a time, filling it full of noise and diesel smoke. I mean, it's awful. Fine, I'll take care of that. But in the interim, by not giving me an order, it's subjecting our kids to constant emotional abuse.
Did you have any additional witnesses you wish to have testify?
I don't know if I no offense, Your Honor, but I haven't exactly felt heard by you. So no.
Okay, I'm going to stop you for a second. You haven't been in front of me. Ma'am, stop, please. Yeah, you haven't been in front of me. I haven't heard any of these cases. So you're not offending me because I haven't decided any of these cases. So don't worry about that. But I just want to clarify that I wasn't the judge who sat in any of these cases.
But I didn't drag anybody down here because I didn't think that you would let them be heard.
Okay. So let me hear from Mr. Eden. Mr. Eden, could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm that testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you're asking for an order against both parties. I'll hear from you, and again, on new information, things that that have happened since the last time you were in court, again, with regard to both parties, and then you can respond to what Ms. Pardee had said, and then Ms. Pardee, I'll come back to you and you can, I'll allow you to respond to what I hear from Mr. Eden. And Mr. Pardee, he's listed as a respondent, so I can hear from him also in the case brought by Mr. Eden. So Mr. Eden, go ahead. You've been sworn, so
yes,
I'll hear from you.
Obviously, you can see what I'm dealing with. I think we should call all those people in. Absolutely. They need to be, if they're their witnesses, they need to be here present for this because none of this has happened. 99% of the stuff that she has told the courts today has happened. I have not done any of these things.
So hang on just a second. I did see some video, which what appeared to me is you, for lack of a better term, giving her the finger. I mean, did you not see that?
Is that my cell phone or is that the finger?
It looked to me like the finger.
Going up my driveway the day I got a film?
You was there, looked like when I saw it.
On the 29th.
When you were, and again, I can't remember the date right now, but
it was the 29th.
It looked like you were walking.
Yes, it was the 29th. I was at Lana's, her neighbors.
And I saw something with some cell phone too.
Yes, the neighbor locked herself out of her car. I walked over to help her. I was over there helping her. The tow truck driver showed up. Lana and her have an ongoing thing also. She just recently, this year, last year, 2023, chased Aubrey with a rake, and there's a police report on that.
I don't know.
No, she chased my neighbor, Lana. So I was at Lana's house that's next door to Shannon Party's house. They have an ongoing argument going also. Shannon ended up chasing her daughter, Lana's daughter, Aubrey, with a rake. There's a police report on this. The other neighbor, Patton, Cindy Guppy, she has also chased their child down the road and wanted to press charges for burglary charges that their autistic child was in their driveway. I mean, she has police reports with all the neighbors around her. It's just not me, Your Honor. I mean, this is ongoing. The lady in her backyard, she calls the fat, fleshy arm lady, ongoing with, I mean, it's just, I mean, all my neighbors, I've been neighbors with these people 30, 40 years. They're afraid of her because what you're seeing here in this court today is what they do not want to get involved in. We've been in this process for over a year now.
I can see that.
And they just she can't control herself. Every time we go home after a court date, Judge Wool or Commissioner Wool, she bashed him on Facebook. And just, if you read did you read it? It was in my exhibits. I mean, just tore him apart. Anytime that she's not happy with anyone, she just goes after him. She went after Evergreen Shores Homeowner Association, sued them for years. She makes all this stuff up. None of this stuff is really true. Maybe a little bit. Like I said, 99% of it isn't. Then after her and Bill lost that case, she went after the people that were on the board. Each individual ones had lawsuits against them. And John and Jessica Knutson were on the board for Evergreen Shores. They were her neighbors at one time also. They have foster children. She attacked them also, turned them into CPS. I mean, this woman cannot stop with the neighbors. Jessica Knutson and John actually moved because of Shannon. I mean, this is an ongoing thing with everyone. Now she's sitting there trying to she's trying to bring me into Superior Court over some land issue. She said, I filled my yard in. And that was in 2007. I had a grading permit because I did some work on my yard. I brought some topsoil for landscaping. They didn't move into their home till late 2014-15. They're going back through public records, anything she can do to sabotage me and my business, saying that I'm trying to run them over in my dump truck. I got dates here that she put on her declaration stating on Friday, 10/56, November 17th, her kid was outside in the yard and I was saying, hey, these dates, I wasn't even in town. I was out of state, or not out of state. I was on the other side in Eastern Washington. I mean, and I could prove it. I have videos, pictures. I mean, this woman cannot stop. And Bill knows it. And Bill is forced to protect her. And the Evergreen Shores, everyone's watching this. This is huge. She got kicked off the Evergreen Shores board out there. She was on the board. If she wanted to address any issues at that time, she could have addressed them when she was on the board. And now she's attacking me because she has it out for me, and she will not leave me alone. This is what she does. This is free training for Miss Pardee. She enjoys this. She builds her cases more and more and more. The more she can do this and drag it out. And anyone in any of her cases, even when I talked to the lawyer for Evergreen Shores Homeowners, she goes, she's going to hold this. She's going to continue this as long as she can, Mr. Eden. This is what she did to us. It was a painful draw, and oh my God, it never stops. And I mean, I wish I could bring all my neighbors in, but they're so afraid of her, of going through the same thing I'm going through right now. But yeah, they're pulling things out that court cases that have been closed. This has been thrown out twice. I have nothing to do with her children. This is between Miss Pardee not getting her way, and poor Bill over there has to stick up for her. Bill don't want to be any part of this. The guy lives in his car.
You speak for yourself. I'll let Mr. Pardee speak for himself.
Okay, well, Bill lives in his car outside the gate half the time, sleeping in his car. She doesn't allow him to sleep in the house. They're married supposedly, but he's not allowed to live there. He hasn't lived there for years. She has a problem with Bill. She has a problem with her children. I just witnessed a possible overdose attempt by her oldest son, Jonathan. Both her kids are wonderful kids. They have been mentally abused for years. And you could probably ask her adult children. They've been through the same thing with her. So, I had to contact the Thurston County Police because I witnessed something that I was concerned that Jonathan might have possibly overdosed. She was begging her husband to take Jonathan to the hospital because he took a bunch of Benadryl and some other stuff, and she wasn't sure. Bill was like saying, get in the house. She kept saying, no, take him to the hospital. Bill walked the kid up the driveway, and the kid says, I don't want to go to the hospital. Bill goes, we're not going to the hospital. But I mean, this goes on. The little kid comes up and pleads to the dad and says, you need to come down here and get your son. He's effing tweaking and he's high. And he goes, tell him to come up. And he goes, he can't move. You need to come get him.
So, ma'am,
it just goes on and on.
I'm going to stop you for a second. And so, first of all, ma'am, I prefer that you not interrupt when other people are talking. And secondly, but on the other hand, she's kind of right. This doesn't really have anything to do with, I'm asking why you need an order against her.
Well, to protect myself from all these cases, all the stuff she's presenting here. The one time she has me on camera walking by her house is because I have to go to court again, right? And if you guys were gonna do a temporary anti-harassment order, I wouldn't be able to get within the distance of the ditch to film why she's taking me to court, saying I caused damages for foundation, blah, blah, blah. So when I got permission from Lana, when I went over there to help her because she was locked out of her car, I walked by Miss Pardee's front yard. I took a picture of the culvert pipe in Lana's yard. I went over to Mike's. I took a picture of Mike's culvert pipe. I walked along Shannon's front yard on the road, and everyone walks back and forth their dogs. There's no anti-harassment, no reason that I can't walk by her house. I filmed the ditch that is completely filled in where she allows parking for two of her businesses. People come and go all the time, turn around people's driveways. That makes all of our dogs bark. It's ongoing. She's got people dropping dogs off and people going. I mean, it just never stops. So that's why I walked by her place and filmed the ditch, because I'm going to Superior Court and the courts need the evidence that I need to submit to them in the next hearing they're dragging me through. So I mean, one court case after the next court case. And why is all this? Why now? They've lived there since late 2014, 15, and she's viciously attacking me. I can't go out my house. She's got reports. Oh, he started his truck at 7:15. Oh, he ran it for 10 minutes. Oh, he started his truck. Now he's moving his motorhome. Now he's doing this. She walks, me and the neighbor were standing in the road. She came by. I was like, oh, great. Here comes such and such. She comes driving by. The neighbor's my witness. I get the dog. I walk across the street. She says I lunged at her car and stopped her from going in fear. Darla Burkett is a total witness, saw the whole thing. She said she was willing to tetanus fight. Well, guess what? Shannon got the papers and Darla Burkett's name's in the papers. She went on Messenger. They're not friends. Why everyone's on Shannon's Messenger, her pages for Concern for Evergreen Shores, is because all the harassing things that she did to everyone out there, so they like to follow it. She is followed by 300 people had to vote her off the board because she's threatened to shoot at dogs and people. I mean, this woman, it's stacked so high.
What about you're asking for an order against Mr. Pardee?
Okay, I want protection from her because she continued lying, and these are all these lies. Her dragging me into courts for no reason.
She said that you used a word that begins with C.
With her,
did you call her that?
When she drove by, and I had my dog. We got over this. My girlfriend, my not wife's girlfriend is what she calls them. We got to the side of the road. Her window was rolled up. I looked at Darla. I said, "Effing cunt." Yes, I did say that. Her window was up.
Not to her.
Not to her, no. And my neighbor's the witness and saw the whole thing. Shannon's looking straight forward, not even looking at me. Her window rolled up, and I got it on video. There's so much stuff I didn't want to submit because you already got too much.
Again, Mr. Pardee, is he a part of this?
Mr. Pardee, he likes to, him and I definitely have some verbal, he's jealous of me and Shannon because me and Shannon were really close friends for a long time. And I think he thought me and Shannon had.
Wait a minute, you and Ms. Pardee were friends?
Yeah, for like 7 years. I mean, I got all the screenshots when she was suing Evergreen Shores. They kicked her off the Facebook page. So I took screenshots and I'd send them to her because she couldn't get them from anyone else. And I still have all that stuff. I mean, everything. I helped her for years, unfortunately, try to sue Evergreen Shores and the people on the board. And I can show the phone where I sent them to her.
So let me hear from Mr. Pardee. Mr. Pardee, could you raise your right hand, please? You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
I'll hear from you. What's your position on all of this?
Well, I haven't heard much about why I'm named as a respondent. The stuff against my wife seems to be fairly old. That's fine. And some of this I'm to blame for because I did file a lawsuit against the HOA back in 2018. I don't know what that has to do with today, not much. I mean, I went to the Court of Appeals. I lost that case. Lawyers do lose cases once in a while, so I lost that case. But it had nothing to do with Mr. Eden. It had to do with the HOA. I have filed, to make the court aware under 7105, 105 sub 4 RCW, I have filed, Mr. Eden's correct, I have filed a cause of action against him, Eden Trucking LLC, his trucking company, his mother, Marilyn Eden, who owns his property, and I've also filed it against Thurston County Superior Court, Thurston County Superior Court cause number 23-2-03894-34. So I just want to make the court aware of that if they were not. My guess is the court is aware of that. That is a pending litigation that was just filed in November, and we haven't even gotten full answers from every defendant yet. So that discovery will be ongoing. So that'll go on for a while. But that, if the court thinks that that's a frivolous action, as Mr. Eden's suggesting, he can defend that, and then the court can rule on that ultimately. I think that really has nothing to do. I don't think that's abusive litigation. In his petition, I'm responding directly to his petition against me. He mentions he's afraid because we filed, and I think he checked the box for abusive litigation in 2651-020. That regards domestic violence or people that are intimate partners. Me and Mr. Eden are not intimate partners, as far as I know. Maybe him and my wife, he alleges, were intimate partners at one time. I'm not sure what he's alleging today, but I am not an intimate partner with him. The box he checked, Your Honor, has nothing to do with abusive litigation. Obviously, if anybody could run in and get anti-harassment orders when a civil action is filed in Superior Court and District Court, that'd be an interesting kind of separation of the two court systems. You can use one court system to prevent litigation and another. I don't think that's what was intended by the legislature. I will mention, he talked about, I did download that video for my wife and we submitted it to court. The video you're talking about where he recently walked around the property, he actually flipped her off twice, the video camera twice, when he was going over past Arbor Briquettes, and when he circled around back up to his second driveway, which we're litigating, he flipped her off again. So you're correct, Your Honor, he flipped her off twice. He does admit that he yelled fucking cunt. He was doing that because he saw my wife coming with her car, and my oldest son was in the car, and I think I explained that in my declaration, in her declaration. There's also a mental health matters sign. We submitted photos of that, which has floodlights on our property. It's not a security issue. It's on top of a hill 20 feet above the right-of-way. It shines at my wife's property all the time. It drives her nuts. It's there when my kid catches a bus stop. It says mental health matters on it. And it has spotlights pointed towards our house. That's in addition to him continually harassing my family by yelling that they're, basically disparaging kind of obscene names. He does that pretty frequently. We've had arguments in the past. That's because he's driven my family crazy. He routinely calls my kids disparaging names out. All we're asking for today, Your Honor, you don't have to put an order in of him against me. I'm not asking for an order. I'm asking for an order for my kids and my wife, because all I want to stop is the language. We can sort it out in Superior Court. Wherever that goes, it goes. That's what litigation is all about. People have a right to file land use actions. Now that litigation is fairly complex. It's not as simple as Mr. Eden describes it. He's not a lawyer, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But it has nuisance claims. It has intentional infliction of emotional distress. It has zoning actions. I think his operation of a trucking business in the neighborhood is a violation of the Thurston County Zoning Code, RL21. We'll get into that when we get to Superior Court. There's other actions too against the county for negligence and failing to stop him from filling his property back in 2007. That has caused water issues. That's 15 feet into the right-of-way, Your Honor. I can prove that. I have evidence of it. This is all stuff that will come out in Superior Court. But what we need during the pendency of that action, and I also attached, let me mention, Your Honor, before I get off here, I did attach the letter, because it was mentioned specifically in Mr. Eden's petition, the letter I sent to his mother back in, I think in December of 2022. This is over a year and a half ago is what he's talking about. I gave you a copy of the letter because I wanted you to see it. It's a typical demand letter that we all learn about in law school, Your Honor. It's a 7-page demand letter. I go through the law. I kind of cite the cases. I'm basically giving the owner a chance to reach out and talk to me. They never did. And now, ever since I filed that and filed stuff with the county in preparation for a claim with the county, which I did in prerequisite to my cause of action in Superior Court, this is when it all blew up. This is when he became enraged by the fact that I filed a cause of action. He's trying to bait me by saying, "Oh, I'm jealous of him and my wife's relationship." I don't care if my wife has friends. I've never been a jealous type in that regard. But I mean, they were friends at one time, so be it. They're not anymore, obviously. I think the judge hit that on the head. I don't think they're going to be friends anytime soon. But I'm not a possessive husband. And he talks about how I live in my car. So be it, Your Honor. I mean, what does that have to do with me harassing him? Nothing. He wants to humiliate me. So be it. I don't know what that accomplishes, but it's wasting the court's time. He's filed basically hundreds of pages of old stuff from previous actions. And the one classic example is, I think, dishonesty with the court, and his credibility, I think, is diminished. He says that I chased him down the street, but he doesn't give a date. I gave you the date, Your Honor. It was January 5th of 2023. Over a year ago, I chased him down the street. You know what I was doing? I wasn't a party to the action. I was actually representing my wife at the time. All I did was trying to serve documents on him. He was less than 50 feet away from me. I said, Mr. Eden, here's some documents. You know what he did? He ran down the street yelling, he has a gun. He knows I don't own a gun. He did that to try to get me shot. He's a dangerous man. He's very aggravated by this lawsuit. I think he's indicated that he's very aggravated by a civil lawsuit. He's lost control, and he wants to keep on harassing my family. His goal, I've overheard him up there talking to other people, is to get my family to move. His goal in harassing them daily is to get them to move. That's why he runs and idles his truck at all hours of the day for endless amounts of time. He's not going anywhere with his truck. He's idling it because he wants to drive her crazy. It's noise, it's pollution, it's regulated in industrial districts. It shouldn't even be in a residential district, but we'll get into that in Superior Court. That's not for you today, Honor. But I want to point out that this is a serious matter. The HOA lawsuit that I lost has nothing to do with it. I've lost lawsuits in the past, and I've won lawsuits in the past. It doesn't make me a good or bad lawyer. Monday, you might say I'm a bad lawyer. Maybe Mr. Eden thinks that. That's fine. But lawyers file lawsuits all the time. There's litigation in the courts. One side loses, one side wins. I'll let you go, Your Honor. Thank you for the time today.
Do I get to respond to that at all?
Yeah, you can hear that, and then I'll come back to you, Ms. Barty. I have a question. Came up on the top. Both Mr. and Ms. Pardee brought this up. What's the story on these lights and this mental health matters sign?
I've had a sign on my fence for a long time.
Yeah, how long?
Oh, geez, probably over a year.
Okay.
I had to build a fence
since all this came up.
Before this, I had to build that fence because of the harassment I was getting from the parties out of pocket.
Okay, so wait a minute. So then the sign came after the harassment started. Is that what you're telling me?
No, the harassment.
You just said it's on the fence now, right?
It's on the fence.
Okay, and so you said you built the fence because of the harassment. So obviously it wasn't on the fence. The harassment started before the fence was built. Was that sign up there before that?
It was a difference. She was filming me. We didn't get to the courts yet. She was filming me in the dump truck trying to leave. So that's when I put to protect myself, because there was phone calls.
Okay, but I want to know when the sign went up for the first time.
Sign went up after she started filming me.
Okay.
And then
why would you do that?
Because she was threatening to sugar my gas tank and kill me.
Okay.
She was like, she would get out there and yell. There's so much stuff I haven't presented, Your Honor.
Go ahead. I'll hear from you. You wanted to respond. I'll let you respond.
No, I just protection order from Bill, because just like Bill, said himself, he says he was trying to serve me papers. I had no idea that Bill was trying to serve me papers. The prior day before Bill chased me down the street, they went to the police department and said that I tried to run them over and kill them in my dump truck. So then the next day, Bill comes around the corner of his car at a high rate of speed. He jumps out, and I'm looking right. He's eye locked on me, and he starts running at me. Well, I see he's got something in his pocket. So I'm concerned. I'm like, what the heck? Because just prior, they said I tried to kill him. And I'm like, well, does he have a knife? Why does he have his hand in his pocket? So I took off running for the neighbor's house. I took off running to my house. He cut me off where I couldn't get in my driveway. So I took off running to the neighbor's house. I was going too fast. I couldn't turn. So I just kept going. He chased me probably 400 or 500 yards until a neighbor said, hey, started screaming at Bill. And then I got stuck in the neighbor's fence in the backyard, and I couldn't get over their fence. So I called 911 and was on 911 for the whole time while I was hiding in the woods. And you can hear all the neighbors' dogs barking and stuff. So I was afraid that Bill was still out there. They actually picked me up 2 blocks down the road, the sheriff's department. So that's just one incident. Then he sits there and parks outside our backyard across the street. Him and I get in arguments. He left, big deal. He came back around and started another argument with me. He's saying that my mom slept with her brother and had me. My sperm doesn't swim. Is that why you didn't have kids? He's cussing and swearing at me. It's all on video. I've never submitted any of these videos. The only videos I submit are the police videos. And then when the police come out, you can see Mr. Pardee is sitting there saying, I don't know if he identifies a woman or a man. He's getting aggressive. To me, this is aggressive. You don't live in this neighborhood. Why are you coming around? And my girlfriend can't even walk outside with the dogs anymore. Yes, we do have a flashlight. I got a flashlight for Christmas. Big deal. It's a flashlight. She signed it the day that Shannon might be complaining about something, and my girlfriend's a witness. She was out there with the dogs. So Shannon drove by early in the morning. My girlfriend shined the flashlight down the road. Was my girlfriend trying to cause Miss Shannon to wreck or do any of this? No, obviously not. My girlfriend has nothing to do with Shannon. But they're going to make it
5:43 in
sound
the
like
morning.
they're going to make it sound like all this stuff. Just like I said, in these dates and times of things they've posted on here, none of this happened. Let's just go back to Bill, though. You know, he just continues harassing, you know, bringing me in all these lawsuits, multiple lawsuits. I mean, why? Why now, Your Honor? When they were on the board, they could have addressed any of these issues when they were on the board for the Evergreen Homeowners Association. But since Shannon tried to kill herself, Bill was actually at the house and her good friend Darcy was there. Darcy knew that Shannon and I were really good friends at that time. So I was talking to Darcy, explaining to Darcy what I've been witnessing, and she was having problems with the children and Bill. You know, so when Bill showed up there, it was the first time I got a chance to talk to Bill because he hasn't been there for years. And I said, hey, man, this is what's going on. You know, maybe you should know, because Darcy said it wasn't good. Didn't think she was going to make it. Shannon took a bunch of pills or something. She ended up going to the psych ward for a while afterwards to get help. Like I said, I'm not here to ruin their family. The best interest of, you know, the kids and, you know, the neighbors have all witnessed. There's been multiple reports. And that's why we're here, is because the phone calls to Child Protective Services, I was the only one that didn't know that when you make these phone calls, you're supposed to remain anonymous. And I didn't. So she believes that I'm the one that's been calling CPS on her. It's not. It's all the neighbors around her. Her poor kids have never even got to play in the streets or anything, because it just goes on and on, Your Honor. I just need protection because Shannon will not stop, and she has proof in all of her lawsuits with everyone. She just does not give up. She doesn't stop. She won't. And here I am, I missed another day of work. You know how many days of work I've missed? This is, you know, saying I run my truck. Yes, I can run my truck if I want to, Your Honor. I can play music if I want to. I'm not harassing her. Anything I do, she feels that I'm harassing her. You know, I got no problems with Bill. Bill don't like me, and that's fine. I never had problems with Shannon until a year ago. I mean, I don't know why they're coming after me, Your Honor.
I'm going to latch on to what you said. I said, I got no problems from Bill, but you're asking for an order.
Well, when he's chasing me down the road, like,
okay, so I mean, well,
that's my problem.
An order against him or not?
I didn't have problems with Bill until he started chasing me. Yes, I'd like to be protected. Why should I live in fear? I live there. He doesn't.
Well, he does.
Well, because he gets, Your Honor, if he's there, he's long enough there to drop off some milk and maybe pick up a kid and drop a kid off. He does not ever, the few nights that he spends in his car on the street is it.
Because he watches us all the time.
See, ma'am. Okay, hang on just a second.
And, you know, the other judge said there was nothing wrong with my signs. What's wrong with my sign? It's Christmas lights. I had a Christmas tree up once, and she said I was intimidating and harassing her by having a little tiny 6-foot Christmas tree with white lights on it. I have pictures and videos of her on her porch, yodeling, doing some crazy things with so many bright lights that it's just a blur. And she has lights on her front yard now. She has red and blue lights just like I do in her front yard. How come they don't bother her, but my red and blue lights across the street bother her? And the spotlights they're saying, there's 60-watt light bulbs. A 60-watt, it's not a spotlight. They just over dramatize everything. That's why I need protection. All I'm doing is trying to go to work. You know, my mom is being drugged into these courts. My mom is 70 years old. She's like, what is going on, honey? I'm like, these people just won't stop. That's it. I mean, they just will not ever leave me alone and here's the deal. If you do an anti-harassment order protection, this is what they did the last time. All she tried to do is get me in trouble. So I had to protect myself. So anytime that she came within the distance, I had to call Thurston County. Well, they even had the videos and everything that was submitted to you that she broke it. They forwarded this stuff to the prosecuting attorney. But the thing is how this court system works. If you don't have it in 5 days prior, they don't get it. So guess what? We missed that window. We continue missing the windows. You know, this is not my full-time job. This is Shannon's job. Shannon doesn't work. Shannon has, I don't know what Shannon does. She's got people coming to go drop dogs off.
Okay, so ma'am, you just need to.
She collects free money. I mean, like I said, I knew Shannon for a long time, so I know what Shannon's capable of. That's why I'm afraid of Shannon, because she will not stop this process. And she's going to continue. Like I said, this has been over a year. What have I really done? What one picture, maybe me flipping her off with the phone, or who knows? I mean, not her. It'd be her camera. I've never personally flipped Shannon off. She knows that. I don't even see her kids. Like I said, her kids are not allowed to play in Evergreen Shores because of all the lawsuits they've had against people there. So everyone's afraid. They don't want their kids. They don't want Shan's kids around, you know. And then when the Shan's kids were able, when they first moved there, they were showing bruises. The parents were concerned for the children. This is this talk. It just goes on and on. So yeah, I need protection from both of them.
So here's what Ms. Pardee, do you want to say anything?
Your Honor, there were never any bruises, and Mr. Eden's continuous inflammatory statements about my children being abused, that's more harassment. It is not true. And my children are tired of it. I am tired of it. I don't just need the harassment order and protection, Your Honor. My children do. Mr. Eden is the one that runs out to the road. Mr. Eden is the one that is out there at the road. Yes, let's bring Mrs. Burkett in as she's standing there closing her eyes, turning her head as he's repeatedly calling me a fucking cunt with my 15-year-old in the car when I am what? Trying to leave the neighborhood on the public right-of-way that was put there for me to leave. And with Mr. Eden's illegal fill, I can't go to the right or the left now because he's got an illegal driveway to the left. So and with the fence and then everything else he put up there, imagine, Your Honor, you're talking over 500 dump truck loads of dirt. So he took the ditch away, rose up and
So, ma'am, I'm not interested in any of the dirt or any of the. That doesn't matter.
The dynamic is instead of it being an egress to a house, he's now with a hill and a fence right over the road. I can't even go to my mailbox. If I go to my mailbox, it's over by him, and then he yells at me, fucking cat. I have video last night as I'm just trying to exit with Jonathan from my dash cam of him behind the fence giving me the finger. That's a daily occurrence if he's there. He's not trying to ignore us.
Let's see these daily videos. We need to see daily videos. Every day, she's got a ton of water down her yard.
Okay, so just
Your
stop
Honor,
it.
I have to take
Ma'am.
video daily
Okay,
because it keeps track of the noise levels. 40 minutes, 60 minutes of a dump truck or a diesel truck idling in this neighborhood for no reason at
Okay.
all. They don't go to work.
So-
They're just there
so
idling.
ma'am, I'm going to stop you, okay? And I'm ready to rule. And here's what's going to happen today. First of all, I guess I don't know whether I should say this or not. Every time I say that and then say it, people told me I shouldn't have said it, but I'm going to say it right now. That individual seated to your left should not be here for all this. They just shouldn't. I don't know how old that person is, whether he looks to be 13, 14, maybe 12, 13, but this is not an appropriate thing for him to be involved in. It's just not. So there's that. Second thing that Mr. Pardee made a comment about lawsuits. I've won some, I've lost some, and all that sort of stuff. And what's going to happen today is everyone's going to win, everyone's going to lose. So I'm granting both orders, both Mr. Eden's orders against the Pardees, and I'll grant your order against Mr. Eden. And the parameters of the order, there's not going to be a distance restriction. So you don't need to worry about coming. You can't go onto their property, but you can't do that anyway, because that's that would be trespassing, of course. The basis for the order on behalf of Mrs. Pardee is that you did, by your own testimony, apparently flipped off. You did use the word that she apparently heard. She wouldn't have, he said her window was open, but she found it out somehow. So, I mean, obviously that was heard. I would find that that's harassing behavior. The pattern be shown by Ms. Pardee and Mr. Pardee. And again, I did look at the whole file, and I didn't look at the other orders, but everything that's been submitted, and obviously I'm not out there. I don't live out there. I don't know what's going on. But if a quarter of this, if an eighth of this is accurate, and I believe we've reached that threshold, this is just no way to live from either party, either the Pardees or Mr. Eden. And so for the next year, the parameters of the order is going to be, and again, I'll find that both have engaged in patterns of conduct that have harassed the others. And basically the order is issues not to cause you any physical harm, not to contact, including the minors. Don't engage with the minors, and don't engage in stalking behavior. There is not a stay away provision given the proximity that you live to each other. There's not like, don't come within, don't be out there with a tape measure. Don't come within 500 feet. Don't come in with 100 feet or anything like that. You guys just can't talk to each other, can't communicate with each other, and just don't be involved in each other's lives, which is what I think you both want. So what does that mean?
Your Honor, can I ask a question?
I'm not done yet, Mr. Pardee. I'm not done yet. And that doesn't mean that this, I'm not trying to regulate how Mr. Eden runs his garbage trucks or anything like that. There's just, I don't have any control over that. And I don't, you know, what he has to do for that, that's not necessarily, you might think it's harassing, but it's not. The basis for these orders are the interaction and communication or lack thereof that is communicated, that has been gone back and forth between the parties. His lights, I'm not regulating any placements of any lights or anything like that either. I mean, and again, I just can't, you know, what might seem harassing to you isn't necessarily, or I can't objectively find as harassing behavior, but the harassing behavior, again, is the verbal interaction between all parties that has been shown through the filings as well as the testimony here in court today. Mr. Party, I'm done now. And so now I guess when Mr. Eden earlier had said that you got on whatever
It's showtime.
social media website you referenced and trashed the previous judicial officer, maybe you both can get on there and trash me here today, but neither one of you should have any communication with the other. So I'm granting your order, Mr. Party, that he's not to have contact with you, but it's going both ways. Mr. Party, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, it's sort of important, Your Honor. I mean, you're putting an order in against me. I don't think there's any evidence of any harassment by me, but that's fine.
For me.
Also, I'm the attorney. I have to talk to the other side. I have to serve documents on them.
Well,
we have an agreement to do email service. Are you going to make an exception?
Just
for
a
that,
minute.
Your Honor?
I'm going to stop you, Mr. Party, and say, yes, I will include language in there. It says, except in the course of litigation. And what's that cause number in Superior Court?
I'll give it to you now, Your Honor. 23-2-03894-34. And I have an agreement with Mr. Eden to serve by email.
Just wait a minute. Let me make sure I get that number. Except 03894-34?
Yeah, 23-2-03894-34.
All right.
Your
And
Honor,
that'll-
what
and I'm
contact
gonna
am I supposed, or what harassing? I don't understand. I haven't talked to him. I don't talk to him. I get in my car and I try to leave. How is it that I'm harassing him?
Ma'am, I've said before,
Yeah.
based on the filings, combined with your testimony, I'll make a finding that you have engaged in harassing behavior and an order is going to be entered.
Yeah.
And,
Well, if you could explain to me what that harassing behavior is, I'd like to know so that I can prevent doing it in the future. And you haven't told me or proven to me that I've done anything. So it's very confusing. So I'm asking you to point out what that harassing behavior is so that I can get with my caregiver and we can make sure that doesn't happen in the future.
In the future, what I want to see going forward in the future is just no communication or interaction with Mr. Eden at all.
I do not talk to Mr. Eden or interact with him at all. Do I
Okay.
record my front
Yeah,
yard?
based on the-
You bet I
Yeah.
do, and I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't talk to him. I try to leave my driveway. He's the one that comes and yells at me. So I'm asking again for you to clarify how I stop harassing him when I don't talk to him. I don't flip him off. I don't go near him. I simply leave my driveway, enter and exit. So how is it you would like me to not harass him when I'm already not doing anything? What more would you like me to not do? Would you like me to stop breathing? Because I'm really confused.
You know, Judge
Yes,
Woodcock,
please.
he's made it where he couldn't represent her.
Judge Meyer, I'm very confused though. One thing, what did I do to harass Mr. Eden? He's talking about an incident that happened in January. That's unfair, Your Honor. You're putting an order against me. I don't even live there. Allegedly, you're putting an order against me. I've never harassed Mr. Eden. I mean, I tried to serve him back in January. There's no proof in the file. There's no proof in the file that I harassed him at all. I'm an attorney in the state of Washington. You're putting an order against another attorney for what? What did I do?
And you're allowing Mr. Eden to keep the kids' dad away from helping us. He already said, Jeff already admitted Bill hasn't done anything to him. Oh, we're almost buds, but I want this order. And
so when I go to court now, Your Honor, I have to be fearful that I'll be set up. When I go to court now, when I walk into the courthouse, I will be set up by Mr. Eden. Thank you. Because now I can't go to court without feeling safe because I have a no contact order that you're putting in place.
This judge works for Thurston County and we're suing them. Isn't this?
I've never even been named as a respondent, Your Honor, until I filed that action in Thurston County Superior Court in November. That's why I'm named as a respondent now. I was never named as a respondent in the past. Mr. Eden says he has no problem with me. But now you're putting
all
a
of a sudden
restraining
he
order in
does.
against. That doesn't make any sense, Your Honor. But I guess so be it.
Okay.
Isn't there
So
some
I've
kind of
included
three-day appeal?
in 23-000-435, I've included the parties, you folks, may communicate with Jeffrey Eden in the course of litigation in Thurston County Superior Court number 23-2 -000-435-34. I'll also indicate, Mr. Pardee, the parties may appear in court together, but there's not a
Your Honor,
distance
that's not the
restriction.
right cause number. Right?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It's 38-03894. My mistake. You have it right on.
I can say it again, Your Honor, 23-2-03894-34.
Yes, that is correct.
Does that include when I'm at the courthouse, Your Honor, about to go into the courthouse?
No, there's no distance restriction. You can go to and from the courthouse at all.
Well, I'm
But
saying I'm
anytime-
violating the no contact order by being there and seeing Mr. Eden outside the courthouse.
No, you're not. If it's
Okay.
in the course of litigation, you're absolutely not.
Now, how about we're trying to come and go from our home and he's got an illegal second driveway and we can't get out? We can't get to our home without going past him, and he's always running out there
Yeah,
saying,
and
"He's
you can
hurting
do
me."
that. You can, again, there's not a distance restriction. There's nothing that restricts you to going to and from your home.
Yes, but you are giving him an order and he is the one that gets in the road and blocks the car. Just because this guy says, I didn't do that, if you believe him, oh my God, but that is not the truth. He's lying.
If he blocks the road, that's something you can report to the police or obstruct or something like that.
Also, Your Honor, the mental health matters sign will remain in place. Why?
Yeah, I mean, that's up to Mr. Eden.
And
So you heard
floodlights?
that he put the fence up.
Floodlights and a mental health matters sign.
They're gonna continue taking me to court constantly? I mean,
I can't
Really?
stop them from
it's up to
doing
you
that.
guys.
Well, Mr. Eden, you took me to court. I didn't take you to court.
Okay, so hey,
What are you talking about?
So stupid. Like I said, they started this, not me.
Okay, so just stop. It's going to end now. You're free to leave. The parties are free to leave the Zoom call. You're free to leave. Email copies of the orders will be emailed to all parties.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And that's it for today. And if you perceive that, again, before I go, I'm going to say this. If either party perceives these orders to be violated in any way, you can report that to the police. That can be referred to the prosecutor's office and they can figure out where to go from there. And you're free to go there, Ms. Pardee.
Thank you.
Ms.
All right, do not worry. I have more. I have more on this. So, this is her Facebook post from November, which is just November. Today, while taking Jonathan to school, we encountered the terrorist. Yes, terrorist. We got on Green Ridge, and that person was talking to Mrs. a neighbor lady, not his not wife's dog in the middle of the road. Of course, I had to stop. This prompted the person to give us the finger while repeatedly calling me a fucking cunt and coming at my stopped car. He would not let me continue. I was in fear I could run him over, or more importantly, the dog. The neighbor just turned her head and closed her eyes as he terrorizes us. When is enough enough? Jonathan wants to go to school. What kind of person cannot rein in their behavior? Again, who raises these terrorist people? He terrorized this neighborhood his entire life. His mother left this terrorist here. Okay? Okay, obviously that's about him. If you didn't get that. That's that. Now, there's more. When he said they keep suing everybody in the neighborhood. Oh, where is it? Hold on, it's right here. Wrong one. Okay. Here it is. This is one of the one. This is just one of their lawsuits that they filed, and then they lost the lawsuit. Thank you, Rick. You are right, Rick. It caught me while I was reading it. I was like, wait, that's not right. But you're right. Okay. This is one of they sued all these people. Evergreen Shores Beach Club. That's where they live. And then these are all the neighbors that were sued. But there's more. There is more. Hold on. There's so much more in this, but I'm just going to point out one outstanding. Okay. On her Facebook page, she has post after post after post about saving shelter dogs. You know, adopt this dog, adopt this dog. Like, she loves dogs. What we're seeing now is just a bunch of things in the lawsuit. One of the things is that she wanted to rent the clubhouse at 1 day a week. And that's what she wanted. She wanted to rent the clubhouse 1 day a week. Everybody lives there. So they wanted the dates of when she was doing this. And I guess she didn't give it to him. So she went on Facebook and she bashed them. And then she sued them. And it turned out she did actually get this club. She did actually rent it 1 day every week by doing it one at a time instead of at the beginning. So like I was saying, on her Facebook, she has all these things about, protecting dogs and how much she loves dogs, and she's a foster for dogs. Here it is. Well, she was posting on Facebook that this law, RCW 1608020, gives citizens the right to kill dogs under certain circumstances and places upon the owner of such dogs who are notified of their propensity to duties to do certain things. She wanted to kill. No, I don't think it's a trailer park raven. No, it's a neighborhood. She wanted to kill the neighbor's dogs. And that was the last straw for the homeowners association. Once she posted that she was going to start killing the dogs and children, she added, but that's another story. That's when they all voted. Like he said, 700 people voted to kick her off. She didn't sue all of them, but she's working on it. Give her time. But they have more lawsuits. They're suing Thurston County. They're suing the judge in the first case, in this case right here, who denied it. And I think they're suing the appellate judge, who in this also denied their appeal. So he's right. The neighbor, when he says they will not stop, they just won't stop. They won't. They're going to keep suing him, and there's nothing he can do about it. I mean, they're allowed to sue him. It's America. I know with harassment, it's just hard. So one of my family members were just in court earlier this week, and they're bad people. They just are. And they slashed the tires of the person they were, the victim, because the victim came to court. And so the victim goes to the courthouse guards. I'm like, hey, I came in for court today and they slashed my tires. And the officers there were just like, well, we don't have a camera right there. So he called the police and they really didn't do anything. So he went to his lawyer. He has a lawyer in a case against them. He went to his lawyer, and the lawyer's going to try to bring it up to the judge, but there is no cameras. There's no proof. There's nothing to help. These people get harassed, but there's nothing that protects them or helps them, because you can't just throw people in jail unless you prove it. But, yeah, I hope so. I hope so, Nays. Nays says eventually they'll get in trouble for frivolous lawsuits. I hope so. because these people are crazy. Yeah, of course their children are abused. Could you imagine that? My Lord. It's crazy. It was all crazy. So that's all I have for tonight. I did find a new place to get a bunch of Florida cases. We don't see Florida that much. They don't post that much. Oskaloosa County, I think, and I probably said that wrong. We can get from that TV station on YouTube, and I do post those. But this is a different place. So I might go back through some of their cases since we've never seen them because I'm working doubles for the next 3 weeks starting tomorrow. I might go back through them since I won't be able to get the courts during my downtime and try to get some of those. We'll see. So some of my next pieces might be a few weeks old, but we'll live. You know, entertainment is entertainment. So thank you so much for coming out, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you again, Jessica. You're the best. You're the best. I hope you guys have a good night. It's 4:20 a.m. here, so go to bed. People, go to bed. I hope your ducks hatch. Your duckies. I hope they all hatch okay. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Have a great night.